sorry I'm late. You guys ready to film this or what?
Yeah, too bad we got our prediction wrong. We predicted that Buck would win because he was winning in the latest polls, and Colorado has been Republican, and Bennett had no incumbent advantage as he was not a real incumbent.
I know Professor Theriol's gonna think we're idiots.
Not after the second video. Whatever, it was only like, what, 16,000 votes that Bennett won by? We were pretty close.
So what are we going to talk about?
Well, for starters, how we got the prediction wrong. I was positive Buck would have this in the bag.
And he would have if it weren't for all those eggheads. Did you guys hear that, like, everyone with a PhD voted for Bennett?
You know, Professor Theriol has a PhD.
Bennett was also really popular with those in the less than 30K and greater than 100K tax brackets.
Well, yeah, when you spend more money, you win elections. Plain and simple.
Not really. It's more complicated than that. There's a bunch of other factors to take into account, like the fact that incumbency is the single most victory factor in an election.
Yeah, but Bennett wasn't a real incumbent. He was appointed after the Obama takeover. So I don't think the incumbency advantage applies.
Don't forget about all the privileges that incumbents get from holding office, like better name recognition and recall, ability to point to specific things they've done to help their constituents, and institutional privileges like staff and franking privileges.
The what?
The franking privilege. Senators can send you tons of stuff in the mail and not have to pay for it, so they can get out a lot more info than challengers who have to pay for everything. So even though he wasn't elected, he still had the advantage. Plus, Buck wasn't a quality challenger. He's never even won an election, young Buck. We should have considered that before we got a terrible grade on the first video.
Yeah, okay. Well, what else should we talk about? I think we need to mention that women tended to vote for Bennett, you know, the gender gap. And I think we should mention that everyone who didn't like the Obama administration voted for Buck.
Both good points. Might explain the national trends, such as the Democrats giving up 6 Senate seats, although they did expect to lose 3 seats. Luckily for them, they kept control of the Senate.
Yeah, but they didn't do so well in that house.
How did we miss this in our prediction?
Well, the short answer is that Colorado is ass backwards. The long answer is, despite the national trends, Colorado remained true to their liberal roots. I just pulled up a map that shows every district in Colorado voted the same in the 2008 presidential election as they did in the 2010 Senate election. Weird, right?
So when the country was calling for conservative, Colorado was still on the Obama bandwagon, along with Boxer in California, Blumenthal in Connecticut, Reed in Nevada, and Manchin in West Virginia.
Yep, that's why Buck lost. He spent all his time catering to extreme party members and not enough time bringing moderates to his side.
And I read something about Hispanics, how they voted for Bennett because Buck was like too extreme on immigration. He wanted to tighten border security and to not grant amnesty to those who are already working. Dumb racist.
Buck's entire theme was extreme. He wanted to cut federal funding for schools and stop government grants and scholarships for college. But that didn't sit well with the Hispanics either.
Well, dang, look at the time. We gotta shoot this thing and want to have it ready for Wednesday.
Let's go.
Go.